Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Welcome to another episode of the LegacyKnitz Podcast. My name is Chelsea.
My name is Sue.
I'm the daughter mother.
I'm the mother grandmother,
Coming to you from Northern Vermont.
Connecticut, for the very last time.
The very last time. It has been a long time since we've been here, but we thought because we've had so much development in our personal and business lives that
everything's about to shift, and we want to keep everyone in the loop.
Yes. So we figured we would record a podcast episode before the big move, fill you in on what's been going on and what to expect from Legacy Fiber Arts in the very near future.
Very near future. It is so exciting.
That's like the biggest understatement.
I know.
But the problem is there's no way to verbally express how exciting it is. Like
it's beyond all of my expectations, like how it was going and how it felt to where we are today, because it's amazing where we are today. My past experiences indicated that we would end up where we are, but I was really starting to feel like there was going to be some settling going on. So we'll try to talk about the journey in a very short amount of time.
Yes. Go. So just before we start in on that journey, I wanted to make sure to kind of do just very brief overview. For any first-time viewers, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. For any returning viewers, welcome back. For any new viewers, we are the co-owners of the Legacy Fiber Arts dyeing team. The journey we are about to discuss is Mom and Dad are moving from Central Connecticut up to us in Northern Vermont, and the business obviously will be moving with them. So
yes, which is so exciting. The thought of you and I working together on it won't be a daily basis, but it'll be a weekly basis, and it will bring, in my mind, and I think yours too, great changes to this business.
Just such a big energy shift, an energy surge. Like I'm picturing this huge syringe of energy just inflating us.
Well, and even because of where we're landing, literally, I have so much creative energy in me that it's so hard to have when you're in a transition.
I was going to say it's making the weight unbearable.
Yes, exactly. So we decided, I think Dad and I, it was the beginning of the year, and Dad had decided he wanted to retire. And I think in my mind, it wasn't going to be that quickly. We still had a few years. But in retiring, we knew we wanted to end up in Vermont, and we knew we had to sell this house and buy another before that happened, just because of the logistics of it it's when it has to happen. So I spent probably a good 3 months crying over not moving to Vermont. Like that is something we wanted, but the grieving of our home, we've been here our whole lives. And I am somebody that becomes very attached to my home. Like that is my security blanket. That's my home base. It's everything. And we started going through the process, and the house went up for sale, and we didn't start looking right away because ideally we wanted the house to be sold before we purchased another house. Like just logistically, that just is kind of important for us. So then the house gets listed and the pictures come up, and it just like an outpouring of, oh my God, I cannot leave this. You even said it was so hard.
Oh my God. Just seeing all of the rooms, just so objectively, it was weird because when I walk into our house, it's like, I see the grandfather clock that's been to every, it's like there's so many emotional pieces that kind of absorb into me. So seeing all of that removed, one, it's a gorgeous house. So I was like, oh my God, how are they leaving that? It looked like a mansion in the picture. I mean, it's certainly not, but that's how it looked.
It was photographed beautifully. A professional came in. We have the most awesome realtor in the world. I mean, they took drone pictures. It's beautiful. So I just looked at them and I was like, never mind, we're not selling. Like, and I told our realtor, you better sell this quicker. It's going off the market. Like, and it took longer than we expected. I mean, in perspective to other selling of homes, it happened rather quickly. And we had our ups and downs with that. Like, we thought we had a solid buyer, fell through, blah, 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 blah. And in the meantime, now I'm up in Vermont once, twice a week, up and back, looking at houses. It was so discouraging. Everything I looked at was it just was hard. It's hard to work your whole life and land somewhere and then have to look at that life's work and go so much less because of what the market is today. And
the market is so weird.
Yeah, there's so many circumstances around it. And yet in my mind, I had complete faith that we were going to find the house. But I thought I was going to have to make a lot of concessions and say, okay, like, I don't love it right now, but I know down the road, it's going to become really obvious that this is the house we were supposed to buy. And yeah, it's small and I really like space. But I know in the long run, and so we did put down, you and I went to look at, we called it the Retro Ranch, and it showed beautifully. The first floor, especially, it was a ranch with a finished basement. And you really helped. And it was like, no, I think this is the house where, this is it. And the next morning I woke up with I was at your house still. I woke up with such a stomach ache and I just wanted to cry. And I was like, I feel so claustrophobic. I don't think I can do it, but I guess we're supposed to, and it's beautiful, and it was the one thing I learned in this whole process is my body tells me what's right or wrong. And I've never really been good at that. And my body is such an indicator of what's right and wrong. And my body was just seizing. Mm-hmm. And then Dad had to go up on Monday. He hadn't seen it and walk through the house with the inspection, which, thank God, I will never forego an inspection. I don't care if I'm going to lose a house that I think is wonderful. I will never forego an inspection. Well, this house was kind of a nightmare. And I was so grateful. Mm-hmm. So we immediately pulled out. There was so much wrong with it, which was shocking, really, like shocking. Even our realtor, who is one that our Vermont realtor, would sit down with us and say, well, you could do this, this, or this. And we sent her the list and she went, wow, no.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful for that. I was so grateful. And so we went right back to the drawing board. And in between, I think we had a week, this house sold to a really strong buyer. Fingers crossed, you never know till the very end.
Right.
And we found our dream house. And it is a dream house.
Well, it's
there's no words.
Like, I mean, look at our faces. That should tell you everything you need to know.
It's a dream house. So in between that, this is a point that was really hard for me, is I watch a lot of YouTube channels around homes. I love homes. I love them. I love everything about it. And I was like, I had to stop watching them because I was getting so depressed because I no longer had a home that I was excited about. I was moving into Retro Ranch. Again, lovely. Couldn't have brought half of our stuff with us. Half. Like beautiful antique furniture. I was already like, Chelsea, what do you want? And then if the boys wanted something, we'd somehow figure out a way until they could use it, blah, blah, blah. So we went to look at two houses this day. And the first one was the one I was sure we were going to buy. It was a bungalow. I was sure of it. And we walked in and the kitchen was stunning. The downstairs was quite lovely. We loved the location.
But it was not mid-construction, but like mid.
Electrical wires hanging out of walls, half unwallpapered rooms.
Paint tape everywhere.
And it was like they just decided, no, we'll just sell at this point. And the upstairs, we got to admit, we're both pretty sure there was some sort of spirits
There was some kind of, yes,
energy up there.
there were energies, like
Yeah.
they were palpable.
Yes, and neither of us talked about it because I was sure
No.
Lauren would think we were insane.
You
I think
said it on, yeah.
I think she's concerned about my sanity at times anyway. So I thought, I'm not going to say this.
Okay, so Lauren, who I love, we worked with her. She's very type A, very like do. And for anybody that's been watching us for any amount of times, no, we are very much
Type Z.
energies. Some days we're up, some days we're down. We don't. So it's interesting because I still really like her.
At the beginning, I feel like we had our struggles trying to figure out how each of us operated. And I think once we both did that, we were a great pair. And I would use her again. I would use her again.
Yeah, she does a great job. But anyway, but when we were driving to the second house, which you ultimately ended up buying, you said that to me. You were like, I don't even know how you said it, but you're like, I don't know, but it felt this way. And I was like, oh, I felt that way too. Like I felt it.
Yeah, it was super cool. If that house had been completely done, we would have bought it. It was the bones of the house were fantastic. It was a great house. But then this other one we just fit in. We were like, I really want to see it in case the price lowers, because we were still thinking you bid above. Like that's the messages we kept getting. I was like, I just want to look at it in case it's on the market for a while. I don't have to drive all the way back up. I can know yes or no. I'm right here. And we pulled in, and I think I said to Lauren, this is it. This is the house. We hadn't even walked in. And then we walked in. It's an old farmhouse, 1890s, something like that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful is the only word. Spacious without being gigantic. All the rooms, there's not a lot of rooms, but the rooms are very large. It has so much character.
Has way more, so much character. Has way more rooms than I envisioned you moving it. Like
same,
but it's perfect.
It's the space. It's incredibly spacious in a wild way. And I just picture us, I keep thinking Thanksgiving, like, oh my gosh, girls are going to die when they are just going to never stop running around this house. Because it's such a fun house to run around in. There's so many. It has an old school mud room off the back. It has a sunroom. It has everything. It has 2 porches. It has all these entryways and porches. They're not your typical porch.
No, but I love that. Well, no, yeah. So I know what you mean. They're not like, they're more like platforms, I would say. They're more like
yes. And there's no railings. It's just half walls. But they're fantastic. They're going to have window boxes all the way around them next year.
Herbs.
Because there's one off the kitchen.
So you keep picturing Thanksgiving. I'm picturing football Sundays.
Oh, even better.
Like us toting in our crock pot full of chili, and
I cannot wait.
The kiddos in their little sweaters. I know.
It's beyond. And so the biggest thing, of course, was where are we going to have our dye studio? There is a room upstairs that we're not going to commit to yet. It's a smaller room, but the kitchen is gigantic and there's 2 sinks, one on one side of the room and one on the other. I'm not quite sure what that's all about.
Well, you know what it's about? This is the house you were supposed to land in. Like,
I know
this is about, because who else needs 2 sinks and 2 countertops in a kitchen? And the kitchen is huge, huge. And it's just a huge room. It's not like a outrageous kitchen that every corner is kitchen-y. Oh yeah, no. It's just a big room that happens to be a kitchen. Big room that happens to be a kitchen. So we're going to start off working in the kitchen and see how that feels before we invest in getting plumbing to the other room. I'm not sure we're going to want to be up and down those stairs 100 times. I'm not sure either. I'm really curious to see how it develops. I am too. I feel like we'll be using that room for things. So yeah, so we are ecstatic. Dad is so
excited. And we have a barn, a huge barn.
I was just going to say,
About the barn.
you overlooked one of the biggest features of this house, which is
And it's not a barn.
no, it's like a garage barn. It's
Barn.
long.
It's long and narrow.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. So, I mean, in the world where we win the lottery, so there's a garage, there's a workshop area, and then there's a storage area, and they're kind of walled off that way.
Mm-hmm.
We would make that into our amazing studio.
Which honestly, never say never.
Oh, never. I totally agree. Like, even if we used half of it, that is a good space, but it would require water getting there is an issue, but it's possible. So bottom line, we have found our dream home. I can't stop pinching myself. I cannot wait to be there. I have totally detached from where we are now, which I am so grateful for. I literally thought we were going to be driving away and I was going to be sobbing. And let's put this in perspective. I am not a crier. Like,
no,
I literally probably will never cry again because I cried so much.
It's good though. It's good.
It was the first time we weren't making a major move with 3 kids and 2 dogs. It was just Dad and I and Winnie. And so I wasn't distracted. I was forced to process all of this every step of the way. And I'm so grateful for that.
Right. In hindsight, it was like such a gift.
Such a gift. Such a gift. And I literally every time, like all day long, all I'm doing is picturing myself in that house. That's all I do. And you know what? Dad actually said that. I'm like, who are you? Like, he's like, I just picture us being there all the time.
It is honestly just like beautiful house alone, just the whole lifestyle shift that's going to happen. I feel like it is just great timing for both of you. It's great timing for us, great timing for you. It just feels so organic and so natural to have your energies moving up this way into this space.
Yes.
Biking, us with our business. Like it's just all going to be so.
Yes. Well, and Dad retiring, like now I'm really excited about it because he is a go out and do things guy. He'll be riding his bike every morning or, like walking Winnie and then we have this beautiful downtown to explore together.
There's a donut shop, coffee shops, like greens, just beautiful.
It's beautiful. I am beyond grateful that this next part of our lives is this exciting because I was anticipating a lot of settling and going, okay, well, and we're too young for that. That's the other piece. Like we're way too young for that. So there are no words. I am beyond grateful. And I'm so grateful that I was able to trust the process, which was really hard at times. And still, we're not there. Like anything can happen.
Right.
So I have a very good feeling about it all. The movers came yesterday to like look around. That was a little overwhelming. It's like, oh, we still have a lot more work than I thought we had to do.
Really?
Yeah. But it's okay. It's part of the process. And once everything is sitting in that house, I could live amongst boxes for a year. I don't even care. I just want to be settled. And as Rachel appreciates me saying all the time, I just want to start living again.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Yes. And you're so close. Okay. And another thing that we did not mention is you are about 25 minutes away from me for anybody that is curious. So it's kind of like I feel like it sounds long, but it's not. Like 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's not at all. And I don't look at it as a difficult ride. I don't know how to get back to your house yet.
I'm still learning that too.
Yeah, because I think there's back ways. I think we've gone the back ways, maybe. No?
I don't know.
Maybe,
For me, if I'm following a GPS, do not count on me to track, register anything that I'm doing. I'm just following the freaking GPS.
That's what I will be doing I think I will be living with the GPS. I mean, we're very close to the downtown. We're very close to everything. And I'm excited about like just going out on a Sunday and exploring, and I'm so excited.
Yeah. So we are thrilled. So you're moving middle of September.
Right around the corner. Actually, it's closer to the beginning. We are starting the pack up here, possibly the moving truck on the 8th of September. Because then we're coming to you.
Yep.
With little Winnie girl. Thank God we have you for that.
I'm excited about it. I really am.
She's taking it hard. Winnie, this is a big thing for. And we've been going back and forth and leaving her here, which she does not like that at all. And then so Chelsea and Justin and the girls are going to take Winnie for that moving period. And I said to you, Chelsea, you don't have to worry. She's going to be so depressed. She's just going to lay around. But she loves you. I think she loves Justin too, but she really loves you. It'll be fine.
I love her so much. And I'm hoping I can get her out for a few like jogs. Like maybe if the girls ride their bikes, Winnie and I can jog together.
Oh, she'll love it.
We'll make her feel cozy and at home.
I know. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. So yeah, so it's more like the beginning.
Which is like 2 weeks away.
I know. I can't wait. I'm so excited, but I'm also going into denial. And okay, so this will ease us into like the knitting, crocheting.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
Because I am doing some major nesting. I cannot make enough right now. Like I'm just into being cozy and making cozy things for the new house. And there's something about it. It truly, I think Michelle of Woolens and Nosh said, Sue, you're nesting. Like I was thinking it was a stress reliever, which it is for sure, but it's also this comfort that I'm getting from it. So
as you're knitting, what are you doing? Are you picturing yourself in the kitchen using the washcloths? Or you're nesting?
I'm nesting. And I'm picturing like sitting on the back, the little sun porch while it's still nice out. And
even in the fall, you are going to have the most glorious, like leaf peeping. It's going to be, I just can't.
You know, the only thing I liked better about the retro ranch is you looked out and you could see the mountains.
That was super cool, but you also had to look across a freeway.
I know.
So
yeah, and this road we're on is a busier road. So one of the first things we will do is be getting a fence. We have to figure that out, what we want it to look like.
Yeah.
It might even just be the side yard. I don't know. We'll see. Some sort of pretty fence will go up for Winnie because I don't want her to always be on a leash. I think that makes dogs want to not be on a leash.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and then across the street is a huge cemetery, which I plan on doing a lot of walking in. And so one of our followers said, because this farmhouse, I believe, owned all the land around it, probably in its day, and then sold it off to be subdivisions. And I'm wondering if the person that owned it originally, which we will find out, is in the cemetery.
That would be cool.
And we don't know. The house felt but you never know. It's very old. As long as they're friendly.
Totally. That's my thing. Like, just be on my side.
Yeah.
What do you want? I'll cook for you. Can you eat? Can you smell? I don't know. What do you want?
I'll put out an extra washcloth for you tonight. So that's the house drama. Or it's not drama, maybe. But so let's go right into like our plans and how quickly we want to reopen and all of that. And then we'll show all our knitting because we have a lot. And I'm dying to see what you have there.
I know. I think I'm about to bind off. I need to measure. But anyway, So let's talk about the business. So one thing that I just realized as we were chatting is that we are going to be sitting next to each other the next time we podcast, like
in the wool room, which is going to be gorgeous.
In the wool room, side by side. If your white leather chairs are there, we'll be in those cozy chairs with our knitting and sipping on a drink. And oh, I'm excited for it. So the shop itself right now, if you're watching this, we have our Advents up. We have our 4 Sundays of Christmas up.
Let's talk about the Advents and what they are this year for people that don't know the theme behind it. And there are still some available. I would start grabbing those quicker than you had to way back when, just so we can finalize everything. But I'll let you describe them.
So our Advents this year are a trip to the North Pole is the theme, and each colorway is named after a place in the North Pole. So you're going to be getting a really fun graphic map with all of the stops in the North Pole.
Everyone gets 25 minis, and then you get an add-on.
Okay.
For your full skein. I'm pretty sure that's in my brain.
Well, and I could also just look at the listing.
And do not panic, because you're probably like, well, how are they going to dye that all up in this short amount of time? 20 of them are already dyed. Yes. So I only have 5 left. I'm going to rely heavily on Chelsea's input for those and the full skein. And they are offered in both fingering weight and DK weight. Right. And they are both lovely. I'm so excited. I will be carrying those up to you when we come bring the extra cars up.
Yep. So yes, so we have those in the shop, and then we actually just released our 4 Sundays of Christmas. I haven't even done the marketing push around it. But it is like last year and the year before. Did we do it the year before?
Yes.
You get 4 micro sock sets. And for anybody watching this who has not purchased one of our micro sock sets, it is 1 50-gram skein, 1 20-gram skein. And yes, you can get a full set of socks out of one of those.
So yes, as long as you use your mini skein for your heels and toes, and sometimes heels, toes. I use it for heels, toes, and cuffs, but a lot of times you can pick 2 of those.
I do cuff and toe.
Yeah, and it's you get a full sock up to size, I think 9.
Women's 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it kind of like depends on your gauge, then you like all of that fun stuff, obviously, but by and large, you can get a full set of socks out of one.
Yes. And if you're super nervous and don't trust us, just make your cuff a little bit shorter. That's all. Totally. But you're going to be fine. Everybody does it.
Yes. So every Sunday of Advent, you'll have a brand new micro skein to open up, because I will hand wrap each of these as I did last year. And I do believe we're going to have a little extra something in there. We still haven't filled in that gap, but you will get a little treat in there as well. So I don't know. I know a lot of people find that a little more manageable than having a mini skein a day. I happen to love the mini skein a day setup.
I love them both.
I love them both too, honestly. So it's just a nice, fun option.
Yes. Well. And what we're going to do for those, and I'm super excited about this, because it happens quite often when you're opening your mini, you're like, are you going to make this into a full skein? So what we are going to do is pick our 4 favorites out of the North Pole series. And we're going to have, I don't know if we've named it yet, micro skeins.
Oh, we haven't named that yet.
Yes, it'll be something around the North Pole, a short visit to the North Pole, something similar. But we are going to pick between us 4 of our favorite colors and do mini skeins to matching mini skeins or contrasting mini skeins to go with them. And I already know one of the colors, one of the first, and I thought I need like a sweater's quantity of this. It is so fantastic. So, and I love that we've had this little lag so that when we look at the colors, they're all going to look super fresh. I won't have stared at it for like days at a time. So it's going to make those choices even easier for us, I think. So I am super excited about doing it this way this year.
Me too. But if you're ordering both, just have that knowledge that 4 of them you are going to get in micro sock sets, which honestly, to me sounds really appealing, because again, we are going to pick the 4 that we think that we love the best, and that because we've been running this business for what, 7 years now? 7 years now, we kind of have a sense for like what people enjoy the best, what we sell the most of. So if you've got the budget and if you want both of them, it will still be worth it.
Yeah, I agree. Because that was our concern, because a lot of people do both, but honestly, it would make me want it even more because a mini skein is nothing.
Well, especially if you already have projects allocated for it and it's like,
Or
okay, well now I need to use it for these things, but I really wanted it to make a pair of socks. And it's like, well,
yes. And I've been watching Denise, Earth Tones Girls. Hi, Denise, we love you. Doing the one from 2 years ago. She's been doing all of them through the summer of socks or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember. Like, they are colors we need to go back and revisit because they only came out in that way.
right. Right.
So
We never made them into full skeins.
full skeins. So you only got them if you purchase those. And same with last year's. I loved last year's too.
But those are the only two things that we have listed in the shop right now. If you
Yes.
are curious as to when we are going to start refilling the shop with our normal skeins, that we are hoping to do October 1st. So yeah.
And we'd like to, I think what we talked about is we'd like to put in for then our classic fall colors, which are very classic. And then hopefully 2 new Halloween colors.
Yes.
And what that might look like, just to give people a heads up, it might look like you order them, but then we might not have everything dyed right away. But as the orders come in, we'll start producing. And honestly, that's how I've been running the shop for the last year. So there's a very quick turnaround, literally under a week typically. So it's not like, oh, if I ordered it won't come for 2 weeks. Not the case. We will make sure of what we have in stock for bases as we allocate numbers.
And that is one of the things, like part of like how we run the business. That is just something that it's how you like to work. It's how I like to work. It's because we are consumers as well as a business. So like we understand you want your yarn quickly, just like we
Right
want
away.
it. So like if there is ever, and I will just say this now because we haven't been talking business a lot, if there is ever a time where you're like, oh God, I ordered that like 3 weeks ago, what's going on? Always reach out because there is always a chance that things fell through the cracks or whatever. But like,
yes, especially when the shop is filled with like the holidays boxes, because we don't print those labels until the week of, and it's really easy to have a little order stuck in between there. And it's happened, and people have contacted us, and oh my gosh, I feel so terrible when it happens. So
totally.
never hesitate to reach out, ever.
Yeah, like if you haven't gotten a shipping notification within a week after your order, always reach out because we try to
Yes.
get you your yarn as quickly as possible.
Yes. And honestly, I like the dye as orders come in, just even financially right now in the world. Like, we don't want to have racks of yarn sitting around. We would rather have the ability to get you your yarn and not sit on a ton of yarn.
So those are the big things that you need to know about now. Podcasting will become a more regular thing after you settle in and you move up. We are going to be uploading to YouTube a house tour, which will be super fun. Can't wait to kind of like show you what we've just described in words via video. The last thing business-wise, Patreon. We are still over there. I have been really awful about getting content up, but that will resume. And we are also going to be doing like kind of a deeper dive into a house tour. So if you're here on YouTube exclusively, you will get an overview of the house. You'll get to see the rooms. If you are on Patreon, you're going to really be along for the ride of where is the dye studio going to end up? How, kind of like follow along as we set up the business.
Yes.
That is something we are going to be including in our Patreon offering as well as a creative seed now. So
yes. So we're so excited. I feel like we both have so much creative energy right now because all the loose ends are getting tied up. Summer's coming to an end. Summer is so hard, and we all struggle with it. You're so busy with the girls in the summer. It's hard. It's hard. And I know everyone in this industry struggles with it.
totally. And like, it's just human. It's just
like, we're human. Darn it. Darn it. I was hoping we wouldn't be, and we are.
Tried to dodge that bullet.
I know. So what have you been working on?
Okay, well, I'll show you what I've been knitting on as we've been chatting, because it has pretty much been the thing that I've been working on exclusively over the last week and a half. It is the Mini Seasons sweater by Ozetta. Yes,
Ozetta.
Ozetta, thank you. And her name is Haley Smeldy. And
I did not know that.
I only know because I look at the pattern and I see it. So I don't know how I remembered, but I am knitting this out of 100% acrylic yarn. Of course, I don't have the band with me. It is whatever the newest, gosh, where did I go? Michael? I think JoAnn's actually, whatever.
Is it Big Twist?
Yes, Big Twist.
I love Big Twist.
Yes, it's that.
Yeah.
I don't know what color it is, but it's kind of, I mean, you can see it's like a golden yellow. I originally got this for Charlie because I thought she would love this color. And she wants purple. So luckily enough, though, we have a very good friend that the kids play with almost on a daily basis that lives right next door to us. He's 2 years old and he is about the same size as Charlie. So I think
Is he?
Yeah. I mean,
I haven't noticed that when he's over. Isn't that funny?
Maybe
Because he still has such baby qualities.
Maybe a little bit smaller, but this will fit him for sure.
Yeah.
So I think if
it will look gorgeous on him.
I agree. It will complement his coloring so nicely.
Yes.
So anyways, but it's been such a joy to knit. I'm actually really looking forward to casting hers on. It's a half fisherman's rib pullover.
Which brioche be gone? Who needs brioche?
Same dang thing.
It's the same thing, and it's so much easier. It's so much easier to correct.
Yes, I agree.
Why did they just give it a fancier name and make it appear harder?
I don't know.
I don't understand that.
I do love the rhythm of brioche. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes
to, I don't
even
know how.
Oh, I do. And I do like it. But I'll tell you what, this is a mindless knit and it does not look like it was a mindless knit.
No.
But it was. And it's lovely. So what you do is you work this panel flat, and then you join and you work in the round. And Mom is knitting one for Lily.
And it looks like it will fit a tiny adult.
But so for this pattern, for anyone that is looking at that being like, oh my God, it is meant to be oversized. It is a kid's pattern, but it is meant to be styled in an oversized way.
Oh, beautiful. And I will say, I forgot where I talked about this. So I was always one that pre-read directions until I became a knitter, because pre-reading makes no sense on some knitting patterns. This one, for example, I was like, I don't know. Graham was here when I was working. I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know. And then I finally said, like, Sue, you learned a long time ago just to trust the pattern. And you always tell people to trust the pattern. So when I finally did, it made sense. The only thing was, and I sent this to you, the back appeared longer than the front. No, the front appeared longer than the back, and it made no sense.
Yeah.
But it evened itself out. I just kept going.
And what happened was the seam. So you would think that the seam at the top here would be at the very top of the sweater, but that doesn't make any sense because the neck you want to be round, right? So this is where my seams fall.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. And it's also a drop sleeve. I think that is a piece of it.
Yeah.
It is the fun. So I made the adult one. I still have to put the sleeves on.
Mm-hmm.
I packed it. I was going to show it and I packed it. I keep unpacking and packing and unpacking.
That's okay.
I'm at the point where I no longer can unpack though. You made the cardigan and I want to make a cardigan out of this yarn. Honestly, out of this yarn.
Okay, I'm telling you, I made the cardigan out of 100% acrylic yarn. It was a different brand, but I think it was kind of the same anyway.
They're all the same.
Every time I wash and dry it, it gets softer, it gets cozier. And the fact that I can wash and dry it and not have it shrink or stretch out, or like, it is amazing. And that's what I wanted for this too. Like, I want the kids to be out in the leaves, playing with dirt, making fairy houses, me taking it, throwing it in the wash.
To me, I want it to be treated like a sweatshirt.
Yes.
It costs all of $8 to make. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to put your time in there, but I was talking about this too. It's like, I'm struggling. Do I want to make these for some of the grand nieces or nephews? And the problem is, yes, they're inexpensive to make, but they do take time. Like I've put a lot of time into this.
For sure.
And is it worth using up all my time for a possible wearing of 4 to 5 times? Is that worth?
Especially a garment like this, where like you just said, like it's meant to be like
Worn.
throw it on every day when you go outside.
That's what I'm seeing with the girls. It's like you're heading out, like throw on a sweatshirt. So I really do struggle with, again, at this stage in my life, giving up a large amount of time. If it's not, it could still be appreciated, but only worn once. Like, I don't know. So I feel like I'm going to be knitting for Charlie and Lily and any other little ones that come along, with the intention of saying, like, wear to death, wear holes in things. Isn't that the goal?
Yes, because then we
Wear
can
them
make
out.
more.
Yeah, because I am going to make more. I love this. I love it. I'm going to get back to it. I've been flitting.
You're on the ribbing though, so it's not like you could have lost what you were, and this is such an easy pattern too. Like that is the thing with brioche, is sometimes if you put it down for too long, it's like, oh God, where did I leave off? With this, you know exactly where you left off, because you're either on a ribbing row or you're on a knit row or a purl row, depending on if you're working flat or in the round. So like, it's easy to read. It is looks amazing, looks fancy, looks like something you'd get from the Gap for $50 for your kid.
Oh, are you?
Plus the joy of knitting.
Yes, Dad had one of these from LL Bean in cream. I don't know if you remember. It was a rag.
I do, because I remember it was all like frayed at the neckline. I remember it.
Yeah, it is such an old school sweater, and I love it. And I love that it can be boy, girl. It doesn't matter. It's a style that just fits anyone, and I love it.
I do too. And I'm so excited for them to have it in there. Like it's going to be folded in a basket by the door.
By the door. Yeah. And I'm going to make one, and it's going to be the same thing, hanging by the door. Oh, I can't wait to have it hanging in the mudroom by the door. This is what I do all day long.
I know.
Okay. So I am all about going to JoAnn Fabrics 4 times a week right now.
Perfect. So daily, practically, because I don't go out on the weekends. Yeah. Oh my gosh, we got to move faster. I have a 12 o'clock lunch date. I know.
Okay, we're going to keep moving. So I decided I wanted to make pot holders. These are very large.
They are.
I know.
Who cares? I mean, it's great. I would prefer them to be.
Yeah, you do need large.
Well, honestly, the ones that Graham made for me, I love, but there are times where my thumb will go over the
or your wrist.
Or my wrist. So I love that size, actually.
Yes. So I just doubled cookies and cream. I love these so much.
What's the pattern, or did you just make it up?
It is one, I don't remember, but it's like a mini basket weave.
I really want to make some.
Yeah, it's like knit 4, purl 4, knit 4, and then knit your knits, purl your pearls on the back, and then do the opposite.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many I cast on. This is my last one. So that, and then I was like, well, I need washcloths because, I need washcloths because they're so pretty.
Yeah. Come on. And is that the grandma's favorite or whatever it's called?
This is, no, I think it's cookies and cream again. Oh, grandma's favorite washcloth. Yes,
that's what I meant. Yeah.
So what I did is I fell in love with this. So then I picked out all of the flecks and bought those yarns. And so this is going to be a grouping of 4, either in the kitchen or the bathroom or both. And I have enough to make 5,000 more.
I want to go and pick out my own color palette.
I know. I love them.
They're gorgeous.
So I'm just going to keep knitting them. I feel like for friends, this might be just a fun little Christmas gift.
Even like if you become friends with like your neighbors really early on, like it would be such a fun thing to like wrap it in a nice little fabric ribbon. And
hey, thank you for liking me because I need friends.
Thank you for welcoming me.
Or better yet, hi, I need friends here.
Yeah, please. I made these. I can make
these for you. So I make those. I'm all about like the big box yarn right now. Like It has such a good purpose.
I love big box yarn.
Should I keep going? Because I have so much.
Because honestly, like that, I have socks, but like we're on a time crunch. We can do socks the next time we're together.
Yes. Well, I have this sock,
Which
I have fallen in love with. Dana Ray makes. I've followed her forever. I don't know why I've never like clued into. She has great sock patterns.
I need to make those.
These are so much fun. They're
to.
so much fun. And what I didn't realize, so this was one of our boxes, maybe spring showers.
Yep, it was one of our precious parcels.
Precious parcels, which I want to get back to.
I would love to.
I don't know if our customers, you could leave a note down below if you really enjoyed them. So I love this little like yarn over effect. Isn't it gorgeous?
Have you tried them on?
No, I think it's going to be a little gift for Lauren for being such a great realtor.
You did say that. So how many different sizes are there?
The typical 3, if I'm remembering right.
Because part of me wants to make the size, like the largest size, and have them be super scrunchy. And
I would stick with this size.
You do?
Are you talking for you?
Yeah.
You can cast one on. I started with a big box yarn, a Patons, and I didn't like it at all.
Well, Patons is a heavier fingering too. That can get really like sticky.
I'm gonna show you. And it was way too hard to work with. I have cords that I have to work over down here, but it's pretty.
I love the look, but I also know how hard it is to work with that yarn and a pattern sock.
It was hard. I'm glad you're saying that because I'm like, why can't I do this? The knitting 2 pearls together was so difficult.
Yes, because it is, honestly, it's borderline sport weight in my opinion.
Yes, I love it. And I'm going to make maybe another neighbor. I'll be like, your feet look cold. Will you be my friend?
Come here, little girl. Okay. I was just pulling these out because I'm knitting these out of Patons. Like this is the same thing. And you can see I did I don't know.
Yes, I love that.
Knit 4 purl 2, but it is definitely like, I don't even know. I thought I cast the other one on. Maybe, I guess I didn't. It was sticky. It was sticky. Yeah. I love it because I do think I'm going to wear these like crazy because they are a real workhorse of a sock yarn. But yeah, it's a lot more to work with.
I am glad you're saying that because I was really struggling.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, although I have one more big project that I have to show. Aren't these fantastic?
So fantastic. Those are the ones you started up here.
Up there, Vivid yarn?
Vivid, yep.
So I had given Chelsea a bunch of yarn that I had that I was like, I'm never going to use it. And then I was like, I've got no yarn, Chelsea. So I came up and stole a couple of them back.
Yeah.
What did you do with the other one?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't either.
I know you have it though, because I remember you grabbed it before you left.
I did. Yeah. So what I did on this, it's the monkey sock, but then I'm making the sock part just plain.
I was wondering why it looked so different. I was like, what is it about that? Oh,
I like it. I like it a lot. And originally I was thinking maybe these for Lauren, but I feel like the earthy colors are more her.
I agree.
These feel a little too wild and crazy for her.
I agree.
Isn't it funny how well you get to know your realtor? I know her colors without knowing her colors.
100%.
I know. Okay, the last thing is fantastic. So I hope everyone's sitting down.
Have a seat, everyone.
Have a seat.
You have me wanting to start another crochet blanket.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed.
It's so calling good.
Focus Granny Square Afghan.
Susan.
I know.
I never call you Susan, but it just felt appropriate.
You can. You know who calls me Susan too? I love it, Rachel. Sometimes she goes, Susan. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you sound like Chelsea. I crack up every time she says it. So I'm going to tell you what I'm using. I love this so much. And I'm also going to tell you, I'm going to do a close-up.
Yes, please, because I want to see too.
So I do a circle, 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 1, 2, 3 rows of just circles. Then I square it off. And then I do
Did you make this up?
kind of, sort of, but not really. It's just, if you look close enough, if you're a crocheter, you can figure it out. I believe I have 20. Let me count.
When you get up here, I'm going to sit with you one day and you can show me how you do one of those, and I'm going to start.
Yes. So I do 20 double crochets. So chain 4, 20 double crochets, then a single crochet in between each one. And then a double crochet, just one double crochet in between each one. And then 2 double crochets in between each one. And then I stuck with 2 double crochets for every round because 3 was making them very wobbly and warped. So then I do a corner, which is 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, then 4 groupings of double crochet, and then another corner.
Interesting. And
so I don't do any chaining, no chaining except in corners.
What weight yarn is it?
It's worsted weight.
Okay.
And I'll show it to you because it's so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. And then the final row, I crochet and attach. So I crochet around, I grab it's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
So here I'm crocheting, and then I grab through the 2 spaces to attach them. I just find it easier, and there's very few ends because I crochet them in, especially in such a dense one.
Yeah.
So I have very few ends to weave. I mean, there's still a decent amount for sure.
But you can just
do as simple as just being cut down because it was long.
Right.
So what I used, and I love, and I still have enough, I probably have all the squares made.
One last question. What size hook? Because I know we're going to get that question.
I know. It's a odd. And I enjoy the clovers. I think this is a clover.
Yeah.
I can't use an old school with nothing as far as for gripping.
Yeah.
I need something or my hand just hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I used Lion Brand Heartland. I picked 4 colors. Hold on. Sorry.
That's okay.
4 colors because I think 4 colors is really manageable.
And then plus a border color.
And then a border color. So it depends. Like I wanted this to be a hocus pocus blanket. I wanted that desperately. And then this color I loved. Originally I was going to do like a cream, but then I found this. This is White Sands. Now I think I bought 10 because I didn't know how many I needed.
Yeah. I
do still need to put a border on, but I think so far I've only used 2 or 3. I would say safely 6. And I had to order these from Lion Brand. They didn't have enough in the store at the time.
Okay.
And it came really quickly.
And is it 100% acrylic?
I think so.
Nice.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
The washing and drying of it all just is so practical.
Yep, it's acrylic. I don't really like how they describe. It's a 4 out of 5, I think. To me, it's a worsted weight.
Yeah.
So I have had so much fun working on it, and I have not worked on it a super long time. I get a real system going where I do a bunch of circles, like I do one of each color, and then I can never say it out loud, but I have piles, and then I have this rhythm of how I use it so they all look different, and then I start over, and I love it.
It's so good. And I'm absolutely starting one. I'm thinking if I have any of this kind of yarn left over, like I have a whole slew of colors that go so well together. Actually,
there's something about a granny square blanket. And I bought the wrong yarn, but I love Kristen of Woolenvine. And and I've got the periwinkle sitting here.
I know. I think I'm going to use whatever, because this is excess and I have some more downstairs too.
So Kristen is doing this Victorian lattice square.
Oh, wow.
using like a variegated, this was such a dumb move on my part. I ran yesterday because I hadn't been in a day or two. And I went to Michael's. I am obsessed. I literally am like, I'm going to Michael's or JoAnn's today.
You do not need to explain yourself to me.
I know. So I bought this because she had something that looked like this, but it's got all these. I know,
Yeah.
it's really ugly. Like,
It's just
what are
weird.
you thinking? So I made one.
It's actually kind of cool looking. Is
It's
it
not.
soft?
It's wicked soft, but you're not getting a really nice definition of this beautiful pattern. So after lunch today, I'm going to return. I never return anything. I'm so lazy. But
if you're going to go multiple times a week, then there's no.
I know. I think I can't return this. So I'll leave this at Goodwill probably. But I'm going to look. She did these Karen cakes. But now I think I have a better idea. I might have to order it online.
Okay.
So like I need another blanket. I'm moving to Vermont. I have so many blankets.
You're gonna need them all. I've heard it's gonna be a very snowy winter.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I've heard we're gonna have a lot.
Well,
so you're gonna need those blankets.
Yes. And I do think that we're gonna have sleepovers, girls sleepovers. So when we know a storm is coming, we'll get you and Kristen. Yes. And then the men will go somewhere else. Sorry, men.
They can come here.
Yeah, they can come there.
I love it. Oh, yeah. Just so you know, it's 11:35. I don't know how much time.
I have to be there at 12. So I feel like we should wrap it up.
Okay.
I've also been stitching like crazy. And
have you been floss tossing with Rachel still?
No, we are going to floss toss next week.
Okay.
We want to get back to that. I have dyed fabric all this week. So Rachel will have, it's going out tomorrow morning. Rachel will have fabric in her shop, which is Treehouse Fiber Arts. She also has some great stuff in there right now that I just ordered.
I need to go look at her embroidery. I need to pick up my embroidery again too. I haven't done that in so long.
Our worlds are just going to open up so much. We are going to be a nightmare together.
A nightmare. And we're going to have that wool room and we're just going to have things plastered all over it.
I know. Like, I can't believe I'm going to be like, so Chelsea, we need to meet for lunch.
I know.
I will have a lunch friend.
Yes. Like, let's go to lunch and then we can bring our knitting and the girls can play in the park and we can sit on a park bench and knit together.
I really feel like I have to pinch myself.
I know.
And it's so everyone said, and then we won't talk about the house anymore. Quite a few people say the house is going to find you. And I thought, yeah, I mean, yes, I feel that way, but will that happen? Like it was feeling like it was such a struggle to find houses even to look at, knowing I wasn't going to like it. And literally, we shouldn't have been able to afford this house. We shouldn't, everything about this house, like Dad said, I stated very clearly, we will not be buying an old house. And he loves the house as much as I love it. He said, I made that very clear that he tells his friends this, like that was the top of the list. Everything about it, it literally felt like it said, come in and buy me.
Yeah. Like we pulled in and it was like, well, finally, here you are.
Here you are.
Yeah.
I love to think about it that way. It makes it so magical.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think so much of what we experience as humans is magical. Like, might as well recognize it.
As long as we recognize it, that is the piece that people don't recognize it or they poo-poo it, for lack of a better word. And it's like, I've had that thought in my head now a lot, how one of our neighbors said, the house is going to find you, don't worry. And I was like, oh, I wanted it to be true. But then when you really stop and look and think about this whole experience with this house, it did.
So much divine energy.
So there, Lauren would be going, girls, girls, girls.
Girls.
Can I tell you, she is a whippersnapper of a businesswoman. Like, I appreciate it so much how she is like, bing, bing, bing. There's no fooling around. And We were so lucky on both ends. I love our realtor here, and
They were exactly what you needed on either end of this experience.
exactly. Exactly. So with that, I have to go. What I'm doing now is kind of having special lunches with friends, and it's been lovely. And you know what? I'm always like, well, maybe we can fit one more in.
You've got a little bit of time.
I know. And you know what? It's important. Soon I'm going to be in a land where I'm not surrounded by these lovely humans. So I'm going to take advantage of it.
As you should.
And they all can't wait to come up, and you're always part of the equation. It's so funny. They're like, and we'll see Chelsea and the girls, right? And I'm like, of course. So yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
I know. All right. Well, thank you all for your patience during this huge transition. And we appreciate it so much. And we will be wrapping up the make along with Rachel. And there's some good top prizes there that once the shop is up and running, they will all be available.
And we will do a special podcast surrounding that too. Once we're settled and we get all of that, we'll be
absolutely back. We'll be back.
All right, friends. Thank you for being here and hanging with us. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you don't already. We would love to see you back here again as we move up to Vermont.
Needles up, as many needles as I could find in a short amount of time.
That's a lot of needles and I like it.
A lot of needles.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Just got here. This is the farmhouse. It's dreamy. Mom stepped out of the car and said, "This is it."